Hello and welcome to the Helm developer meeting for July 25th. This meeting is recorded and we do follow all the CNCF guidelines of, that's what you say, just being nice and all that stuff. So we'll get, without any delays, we'll get started. Thank you all for showing. We'll start off with announcements. Don't believe we have any. Go down to, and then I see people are in there making changes, so I'm not sure if Karen or Matt or who's in there. But for discussion, Matt, you have a KubeCon Utah or Salt Lake City update.
Yeah, sure. So just to let folks know, the maintainers sessions and various things closed on Monday of this week. We submitted a maintainers talk and a what's the other thing called offhand? Scott, do you remember? Contrib Fest. We submitted maintainer talk and for Contrib Fest. We're still waiting to see what happens with those. I would expect we'll get the maintainer talk and Contrib Fest as well. We have, I think, 2 names on the Contrib Fest, and I've submitted George as well. I think it's Scott, you, and Mr. Block are the 2 names on the Contrib Fest. And then Andy, because I didn't know about Andy before it closed, I can't edit it to add him. So I contacted the events team to get him added. I have not heard back from them yet. We have 2 more slots for bodies on it. We are supposed to have for Contrib Fest the ability to commit pull requests at the event. So in our case, we need 2 maintainers there. But Scott and Mr. Block should be able to handle that. And I may or may not be there myself. So that's the update on those submissions and what's going
on. Thank you, Matt. You also have a discussion point for CDN.
Yeah, and by the way, Karen, thank you for keeping us honest with the KubeCon stuff. We probably would have missed the date again if you hadn't added it to last week's discussion. Yes, so what is it? Get.helm.sh is backed behind a CDN. And some time ago, we had approved switching to a lower version of the CDN that's provided through Azure. We are working through a bunch of the details on that now. And so that's some of the background activity that's happening in our CDN. We're trying to figure out how to make changes to it to reduce the overall cost without having downtime or minimizing downtime to something trivial, where it looks like just a network skip. So we're digging into that in the background to make some changes there.
Awesome.
You'd be shocked to know how much that costs us a month. Shocked. I always forget, but it's a much bigger number, and reducing that lets the money go further for our lovely benefactors. The only feature change, if I understand it, is we don't get as detailed of analytics, which we don't use anyway.
Okay. Next on the discussion list, we have George, Docs Wanted, label PR, and this is PR 13194. I will copy and paste this in chat for everybody.
Yeah, we discussed this a couple of weeks ago, adding a label for feature requests that would benefit from documentation. So this is my stab at adding this, or adding this to contributing in a .md and a couple of other minor changes. The only real question I had is so say on the pull request template, there is a checkbox, which is this PR contains docs. And whenever I've seen that, I always think this PR documents the feature that it's implementing, not this PR is making a small changes to the small amount of documentation in the repository. So yeah. I adjusted that for the former case.
And the documentation for Helm used to be in the repository. And that's probably the legacy of where this was, because you could write the docs and the pull request in the same, the change in the same pull request. But when docs shifted out, that changed some things.
Okay, that was my presumption. So that's what I worked with. So then I think my change makes sense. Perfect. Yeah, so if anybody has a chance to review that, that'd be awesome.
Thank you.
Right. My only question is, was there was there a reason why the name of the label changed from needed to wanted
Uh,
or needs? Yeah.
did we discuss docs needed? That was just my bad memory then. Did we
I
prefer
think so.
docs needed?
Yeah, we did, but I mean that's
Uh,
exact wording is. I'm mainly just wondering if the messaging, well, I'll review that here. And
yeah,
I'll
take a look at the PR, and if you think docs needed is better, I am very happy to change. It's just my bad memory.
Awesome. All right, next up on the discussions, Michael, you want to put a reminder out there for GitHub pull requests 11726. I will put this in the chat. The floor is yours, Mike.
Yeah, I guess I've brought this up a few times before, so it's just a reminder if we can get this one over the line. I think it's very, very nearly there. It's just a matter of getting final review, I think, to hopefully get it merged in. Then dependency update performance on, I guess it's going on. We're a year and a half trying to get it merged in this stage, and I'd hate for it to miss the next release again. So if it is possible for someone to look at it, that would be great.
Okay. Comments from the maintainers, Matt, Joe, George.
I'll try to take a look at it. I know I said this before and I keep getting distracted. So now it's in the open things. I'll add it to my open to-do list to try to get on this because it's one that I wanted.
Got it.
Thanks.
I'll look at it.
Thank you, Joe. All right.
And Rob, in your
Sir?
next co-session with me, feel
Mhm.
free to remind me if I have done it or not, if you so remember.
I will be your secretary for that. Thank you. All right. So
You're good at that. And you're very pretty too.
Thank you. We'll move on to HIP reviews. Evans, you have ones. Community pull request 301. I will put this in the chat. Evans, floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, this is a nudge as well. The last change that was asked for has been done. I think, Matt, you asked for certain wording to change. So that's been done. So yeah, if you could take a look at that, that'd be nice.
Thank you. I will. I'll add it to my to-do list right now.
Cool. And Robert will remind you.
You know, it's unfortunate. Like I got this. That's all I do here. So thank you, Evans. And then lastly on our HIP reviews, this one's you, Michael. This is a pull request from community of 349. Put it in the chat for everybody.
Yeah, this is the one to run the hooks in parallel. So I guess we've discussed this a couple of times lately as well. So again, it's just a nudge to, if someone has time to review it, so we can try and progress into the coding phase, and that'd be great.
Yep. And this, yeah, the issue that had held everything up was either time or that we needed to move it to chart side, but I think the HIP did that. We'll take a look.
Thank you.
All right, well, that's everything for the HIP review. We have no shout outs, no social media amplifications. So it was respectful for time. I guess we can do assignments for next call. Moderator.
I have a shout out.
Oh, sure. Go ahead, sir.
Shout out is thanks to George for making PRs from the last review. Thanks to Evan for also helping with PRs. And I want to shout out to people that aren't here, but there are several new people who have been helping with pull requests to review them, pre-maintainer review pull requests, do all the legwork. So I won't take up time right now to go and scramble and find them, but I think it might be a good idea to, I've done this in past meetings, but maybe add them to the agenda for the next meeting just as a shout out. So for now, I'm just kind of sending a ghost thank you, and we can fill in the names next time.
Okay, well, thank you very much. All right, so who would like to be the moderator for next week's call?
I volunteered for last week and then I got distracted and didn't make it, so I'll volunteer for next week.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it. Note taker, Karen, would that be you? I don't make any assumptions.
Yeah, I can do it next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Issue triage and PR reviews. Any volunteers?
Yeah, I'll do more of that again.
And I'll do PR reviews.
I'll do issues triage then.
Yeah, I'll triage issues as well.
For maintainers for next week.
I'll be here.
All right. Without further ado, that's it. It's a wrap. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thanks.